All right, let me introduce now one of the newest members of the Gophers men's basketball team and former Division II All-American Parker Fox. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. So I guess let's start back your high school days, I guess. So you had a good career at Montemedi, and you were a bit under recruited. Didn't play at one of the premier AAU teams with the Minnesota Heat, which is not obviously the same level as Howard Pulley or D1 Minnesota. Um, I guess at that point of your career, when you were choosing where you're going to play at the next level, what were kind of your expectations of your basketball career before you decided you were going to land at Northern State?
Yeah, I think in high school I kind of started to fall in love with basketball. It was something that I really enjoyed doing, and something that I kind of, I have an identity outside of basketball for sure, but I think it's something that I kind of found my identity in. And there wasn't really a whole lot of options for me. I was being recruited by a lot of schools, but nobody really pulled the trigger on me and offered me. And finally, Northern was the only scholarship level NCAA school to offer me a scholarship. I had some NAIA offers as well, but Northern was the first Division II school to offer me, and I committed about a week after, or 3 or 4 days after my visit. Um, and it was honestly a super special experience for me. But like you said, yeah, in high school I didn't play with D1s or Pulley, and I had my opportunity to do that, but I wanted to stay with the squad that I played with for a long time, and Willie Vang and the Minnesota Heat. That allowed me to build relationships with a guy like Sean coming next year, and we're really excited.
Yeah. So kind of once you choose Northern State, once you end up there, you obviously redshirt your first year, and then you quickly improve, average 10 points, 18, and now last year you were obviously a All-American. What do you think kind of contributed to your quick improvement in such a short period of time, I guess?
I think, like I said, just really loving it. Spending a lot of time in the gym, a lot of time in the weight room, a lot of time watching film. I was obviously keeping up with my class and everything like that, but I just fell in love with the game and wanted to get better in all assets. And yeah, I just really just put the work in, and saw the results come, and follow those. The work is, if you put it in and seeing the results follow is, it makes it all feel worth it.
Yeah, definitely. So when you were at Northern State, would you say there's like a time or a moment or a feeling where you kind of realized that you weren't just one of the best players on your team, you were like one of the best players in the country, or do you think that just kind of happened naturally?
I think that came from our team success, to be honest with you. All the best players in the country are, usually on a pretty good team. My team, I played in 107 games, won 90 something percent of those games, and to be a part of a program that kind of just expected that excellence was what allowed me to strive and to be a player on a team. My last year we were 19-2. We lost in the Sweet 16 or whatever it is, and to be a part of a team that had so much success, and to be a guy that they kind of looked to score the rock, was exciting. And honestly, I didn't really ever think about being one of the best players in the country or nothing like that. It was all just a matter of how we could get our team to win games, and that's what was most important.
Yeah, definitely. So then you make the decision to come to the U, obviously. And I think kind of the theme of the whole offseason for the Gophers has kind of been the amount of roster turnover, so many new guys. When you're making that decision, do you put any factor to the other guys that are going to be on the roster? Or are you just kind of looking at who the coach is, what situation you're going into, and kind of that together?
Yeah, I think the situation for me, as a grad transfer, is a little different. Out of high school, it's kind of different. You want to make sure you have a lot of different assets and things that are there for you. But for me, the biggest thing was relationship with the coach. Me and Coach Johnson formed a really really strong relationship. And then number two was the availability to be on the court and to play and to show that I can do it at Division I level. My goal is to show that I can do everything I did at the Division II level at the Division I level. And I hope that through the process, it was really finding the spot that allowed me to do that. And then granted, I get to come home and be 20 minutes from home, so that's really exciting to me.
Yeah. So now that you're obviously part of the team, everyone, all the I guess trolls in my mentions, they love to say, "Oh, you guys are gonna stink this next year because you got so many new guys." Uh, is that something that you listen to the guys online chirping, I guess, or do you just kind of not pay attention to that?
No, I just kind of funny. Honestly, I think it's funny how people just love to sit behind their screens and tell kids that they're going to be horrible at something. It's kind of laughable. But no, if anything, it just motivates us even more. It motivates me even more. I've always kind of been the guy that's had the prove them wrong mentality, and nobody thought I should be playing Division II basketball when I came out of high school. So I've always kind of been that guy that was like, doubt me for sure. I would love you to doubt me, and I'm going to prove you wrong. So I think it's funny, but it's something that you kind of just take it with a grain of salt and throw it behind you, and ultimately you just go to work and try to get yourself and your team better every single day.
Yeah. So kind of looking at your game individually, you obviously were a all-state high jumper in high school. That athleticism clearly translates to the floor. Would you say there's a guy at the next level or the NBA that you try to like model your game after, or you would compare it to?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say there's a guy for sure. I watch a lot of NBA, a lot of college. I'm a basketball junkie, so I'm always watching. Um, but I think the way that Giannis plays the game is something that I kind of enjoy because he plays so hard. I think energy, effort, and enthusiasm is something that you can control every single game. And for me, I just try to play with a really high level of energy. If you've ever seen me play, I put my heart on my sleeve. I play as hard as I can. Every and I like the way Giannis does that at the NBA level. So yeah, Giannis is definitely one with his athleticism as well. So
Yeah, definitely. Argument I always like to have with my friends is if post or dunk or like getting hot from three, like hitting 4 or 5 in a row, which one's like a better feeling? And obviously, you have more experience dunking on people. So, I guess from your point of view, would you rather put someone on a poster or hit like three threes in a row in their face?
that's a good question because I have that debate with our guards all the time. Um, but yeah, there's not much more fun than the excitement of just going up and putting it on somebody. I think especially with a place like the barn that has 14,000 people that are cheering you on. That's a special thing. But you watch Steph Curry hit 3 or 4 threes in a row. That's pretty credible as well. So maybe I have to get back to that as well. Do a little bit of both.
Okay, yeah. Uh, So obviously, since Ben Johnson's gotten hired, he's already made great strides bringing in Minnesota talent with guys like you, Jameson, and Sean. Uh, just going forward, how do you think that the Gophers program can be a destination for other top high school guys in the state?
Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. That's what Coach Johnson's really trying to preach is getting guys that want to be Gophers. I've always dreamed of being a Gopher, and he knew that. It took me a little longer than just a offer and a commitment, but it's been a goal of mine, and that's the goal is to keep kids in the state. I'd argue with anybody that Minnesota high school basketball is just as good as anywhere. You look at the guys that we've produced. You go right down the line. You go, Gary Trent Jr. The Hurt brothers, Jalen Suggs. I'm gonna miss people, but just down the line is just studs, and we've been able to produce those people, and keeping them in Minnesota is a special thing, and I think Coach Johnson's going to be able to do that.
Yeah. So last question I got for you. So, on Twitter, it's pretty clear that you're a fan of other Gopher sports than just basketball.
Mhm.
And football season's right around the corner. Just a fun question, I guess. What would be your Mount Rushmore of Gopher football players from the last decade, the 2010s?
Yeah, huge Gopher football fan. I don't miss a game. So I'm definitely a big Gopher football fan. So I got my list. My number one would be Tommy Olson. He was a lineman. He's from Matamidi. So TL, that's my guy. My number two would be who I would say was my favorite receiver growing up is Eric Decker. I think he was kind of into the 2009, 2008, but I had
Yeah,
to put
we'll
him
count.
had to put him on the list. My three is running back Donnell Kirkwood. Donnell was up at Northern with me. He was a running backs coach up at Northern. So we built a really good relationship, and I actually had his jersey growing up. So I'm a big fan of his. And then I kind of got a tie for fourth with Rashad Bateman and Tyler Johnson. So I built relationships with both of those guys. Tyler just playing basketball growing up, I built a relationship with him. And then me and Rashad kind of, kicked it over the summer last summer. So those two dudes are both studs. And I just love Gopher football. So that's a tough question for me.
Yeah, I guess who doesn't? But
Right.
well, this has been awesome, man. I appreciate you taking the time, and I think it's all I got for you today. So good luck in the off season and I guess when you start next year.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.